She said that American soccer fans, most of them aren't smart. They don't know the game. They don't understand.
Gio.
That guy gazpacho.
Sports can take a lame gorilla, okay?
Advice, did you know that Arsenal died?
He's got me buzzing.
Up the Toffees. It's hard to up them anyway.
I'm even gonna comment on that.
Welcome back to Footy with the boys. We have a big recap of a absurdly bad game for the US men's national team versus Canada and Jesse Marsch. We'll get into our reaction to Jesse Marsch's comments, how the US played in this one, get some keys for Pochettino once he's coming in that we saw pretty glaringly in this one, and then we will, of course, preview that New Zealand game, let you know what changes do we have to make, because there's going to have to be some changes here, boys. A tough result. The result 2-1 could have been much worse. Let's start with some big news of the weekend, and it comes just an hour or two ago from Jeff Carlisle. Palmer, if you can bring up his tweet saying that the USSF board of directors are meeting shortly to approve the hiring of Mauricio Pochettino. Nick, this is our 50th confirmation that it's coming within the next 24 to 48 hours. Is this the one, though? Is this the one?
No, none of them are the one until the announcement is actually made. I've lost all faith. I'm not even sure if Poch is real anymore. He might be dead. This might be some sort of psyop shit, and I think we're all getting hoodwinked.
Yeah,
Definite psyop.
This is a more reputable source. Jeff Carlisle of ESPN certainly has his sources, but there's also all sources that said they're flying to Barcelona to get it signed today, and then that flight was canceled, never happened, one or the other. Doug McIntyre, though, also reporting today that he should be there in Ohio for their next game. I believe is the next one in Cincinnati. So he should be there. And that it should be completed, that his assistants, he has 3 assistants coming with him, his longtime assistant, another assistant, and his goalkeeping coach all joining him. But once again, Mike, who knows? Because we've had these confirmations for over a month at this point. Is that accurate? Over a month? How much of the credit of landing the gigantic name of Pochettino is somewhat taken away, or at least the PR aspect of how much you're looking at USSF favorably? I mean, we were on top of the world giving Matt Crocker all the credit in the world for getting this when it was first announced. That's been a month and a half of the deal just lingering out there. You've lost all leverage because somebody from US Soccer leaked that they were getting him and that it was agreed. And now it's been a month of haggling. Where does your opinion of U.S. soccer go when it's taken this long to land the guy, albeit by far the best option?
It's definitely lost its luster. My opinion of U.S. soccer hasn't changed a whole lot. I mean, I obviously thought this was a good hire, but my opinion has been pretty poor, negative for a while because we've performed so shit. They made poor decisions, hired Greg Berhalter back, all those reasons. So it's still low. Just like Nick said, you got to show me the money. When it's done, and not a moment sooner, because I'm tired of these rumors. We've already missed an international window because of it. We can't afford to miss another one.
Yeah, I mean, it is rather absurd how long this has gone on. And if you're looking for momentum in U.S. soccer, it is starting to slow a bit, although this was a gigantic thing that could have given it. Another thing that could have given it, let's just rip the Band-Aid off, the USA-Canada game. It started off with Canada just all over the U.S. Jesse Marsch went on a bunch of podcasts before this one saying that they were going to come out. He even predicted a 2-1 scoreline. And boys, they were ridiculously better than the U.S. in this one. I mean, just seemed up for it, which is one thing that was absolutely missing from the U.S. The U.S. looked like it was a glorified training session that they were told to take easy. They were not running, not getting into challenges. I don't think we saw a single duel won by the U.S. in the first half. Canada could have had easy, Mike, 3 goals just in that first half? If they had some better finishing and Patrick Schulte didn't have some amazing save on a volley. I mean, it was awful. Initial thoughts while watching this, Mike, were what?
Horrible. I mean, like, are you kidding me? I couldn't believe it was as casual as I was watching. No fight, no grit. And this is the first performance we see from this team after an abysmal Copa America. That's horrible. I mean, you'd expect some passion from this player group, and I didn't see any of it until the second half.
Yeah. I mean, Nick, we'll get into biggest losers player-wise and if there are any positives. But first, what Mike's touching on is a bit of an overarching issue that we've been talking about for a while. And yes, Pochettino is going to preach intensity. And there's even stories of, when he's at Tottenham, he went to the board saying that we need more intensity. We need to push these players. It's not enough. And that was while they were in second in the league. So intensity should be fixed with Pochettino. But how big of an issue that it takes somebody coming in to fix intensity? I mean, Tim Ream came out, commented saying that people need to start having pride in wearing the badge. How is that not a thing that's already there? Mark Ivaris, the coach, I don't know if I agree with the coach putting it on the players, but he did say the mentality is on the players. They know it. The mentality is to fight and run and sacrifice. I can't do that for them. That's on them. Normally, I don't like a coach putting it on the players, but at a certain point, when do we just say, yes, this is 100% on the players? If you can't get up for a game, you can't be playing out there, Nick.
I am turning into a full-on USMNT hater. Like, this is what this group has done to me. I can't fucking believe the free pass that they have gotten based on this golden generation bullshit for having 1-0. And now, like, it's seeping into their play. We've seen that in Copa America, and it was extremely evident versus Canada. They were atrocious. And also, can you shut the hell up, Tim Ream? Play for the badge. How about you just learn how to play soccer? Man was atrocious. I don't know how he's still in this lineup. Come on, brother. He gave away the second goal. Looked horrible the entire game. I'm just. What are you there for if you're not lighting a fire like under their ass? And that was an uninspired performance, to say the least. Everything you said is spot on. Congratulations, Patrick Schulte, for looking good. But the only time your keeper looks good is when you are playing fucking shit in front of him. So that is not really the greatest sign for this U.S. men's national team. Just lacking from every single area, in my opinion. And I'm telling you, I don't know if Poch will turn this around completely, if I'm being honest. I'm turning into full doubter, hater mode on this just generation right now.
I mean, I just feel like, Mike, this points at the issue that wasn't at all talked about before this. It was a lot on Greg Berhalter, a lot on, some of these players are just inconsistent. And all the things that they were talking about positively with Greg Berhalter was, he's built such an amazing culture. They're a brotherhood. The culture is amazing. The culture is going out in a friendly against Canada, a rival now, and looking like they have better places to be. I didn't see people getting stuck yet. I didn't see anybody running. Brendan Aronson did it for maybe 10, 15 minutes. But other than that, I mean, zero intensity. How big of an issue is this for Pochettino? Because this is systematic. This isn't a game thing.
It is a huge issue. I think Pochettino's a big enough name and a good enough manager that he'll sort it out. He won't tolerate it. He'll call guys out. If they're not performing the way he wants, not training the way he wants, he'll get them out of his team. He could do that. Greg Berhalter can't do that. He doesn't have the gravitas. He's not a strong enough personality. And he's probably being dominated by U.S. Soccer Federation to play the same guys. Pochettino will do it his way. So I'm not too concerned with that. But player intensity, it should be an issue. I mean, regardless of the manager, you have to have pride. Tim Ream is right. What he's saying, you should play for the badge, play for your country. But even though he's right, he's a main culprit. I mean, his intensity was nowhere to be fucking found. He was killing the speed of the game. I mean, taking the ball, trying to force line breaks, putting Johnny under so much pressure, and Johnny hasn't been playing very well. I mean, horrible from him. So him to call it out is one thing, but to actually have some action and show intensity yourself is a whole nother.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole thing, watching this game, everything was slow. Every touch was a bit sloppy. I saw it one time. I saw Chris Richards make a one-time pass that broke a line of defense. And that was the only time I ever thought, oh, our defense is not just holding the ball in the back and allowing Canada to press them like fucking crazy till they make a mistake. It's so slow. They have the talent to move it because at club level, we come on this podcast every week and say all the great things that all these Americans have done. They come to the U.S. and they're playing like it's summer camp. It's so slow. It's not serious. But Mike, as you said, Tim Ream potentially has lost his spot here. Somebody does have to come and take it because he's just not been playing well. But who else do you think are the biggest losers out of this game here?
Balogun was tough. It was so bad.
Awful.
I mean, talk about a dude who didn't run. A dude we talk about, he has some speed, a little bit of body on him, is good on the ball. I mean, sure,
His
he tried a
touch
few
looked
things.
a bit off.
He single-handedly killed 2 or 3 counterattacks. I mean, I picture a Malik Tillman surge out of midfield. He takes the ball about 50 yards by himself, flicks onto Balogun, which should be at least a shot on target, turns into a turnover because his touch, like you said, was off, not running well. Other losers, I think the Johnny Eunice pivot did not work. I don't think one of them was worse than the other, but they were equally bad on the day.
I did think Johnny somewhat giving up the ball for the goal and just his overall performance. I was really hoping he would show off something good, especially not having much playing time with Betis, that he would show something. And he really looked just not like himself. Yunus Musa was all right. I don't think he was the same player that he even is for Milan. It just seemed like everybody was below their level. Nick, is there any positives to take from this other than Mikey Varas is not going to be our coach and Pochettino is going to come in and probably crack the whip pretty fucking hard on these guys?
No, I mean, how could it? You got embarrassed to your rival. Like, that is not. There's no positives really to take. The scoreline flattered the United States and they lost. So I don't really think so. I guess, shout out to De La Torre for the goal. I think it's just highlighting how important though this playing time issue that the United States is facing really is, because I mean, would Haji have been like our best attacker? He created a bit when he came on. He's playing a lot, and so that makes sense. I am really sad about that. There was a huge opportunity when we saw Gio leave for Malik to really, stamp himself in this game against a good opponent. He got the start in the midfield. I know it's not like his perfect position, but he still played as the most advanced guy of the three. I think he missed an opportunity to really stay. I know he had some decent moments, but I feel like this is a game that he could have controlled, and the fact that he didn't, I get Ballo was off too, but it just kind of casts a lot of doubt as to where he fits in this player pool currently.
Yeah, I mean, I think he certainly could have taken it by the horns here with the whole situation with Gio, injury, playtime, and he didn't. I think Canada having the 3 in the midfield just overwhelmed Eunice and Johnny, so there was zero play through the midfield really at all, and we don't have the outside backs of the Dest and the Anthony Robinson that were able to help in the build-up, and I think that was wildly apparent for the U.S. It was really just all falling apart. So that begs the question, Mike, here. We go up against New Zealand, potentially with Pochettino in the stands watching in person. What changes to the starting 11 are you making? A lot of people have been saying make wholesale changes, send a message. Above anything else, just send a message that was shit, that's not okay. It's an interim manager, so how much of his message is coming through for an overall thing? I'm sure Pochettino will have his own message, but what do you want to see if you're the manager here? What are you changing?
I think you have to change. I think you change regardless because it is a friendly and you have to try some of these other guys out. Lesser competition, at least a bit. They lost 3-0 to Mexico. So you'd think that they're probably worse than Canada, but I would change a few things. I think Christopher Lund was okay, but Caleb Wiley should get a start. I thought Aiden Morris played pretty well in the few minutes that he had. So I think he should start in the midfield. And then it's got to be a different striker. Balogun didn't do enough. So whether that's Josh Sargent or Haji Wright, probably Josh. Pepe was anonymous as well. Actually sucked. Missed a pretty clear chance.
Suck.
Yeah.
When are we going to talk about Ricardo Pepe
didn't help
sucking
his case at
always?
all.
He sucks always.
I
Yeah.
think he's severely lacking confidence and any type of form because he never plays for PSV. He needs to find some type of move. Ernie Stewart needs
like-
to let him
Back to
go.
Gremio.
I hate when that's used as an
Gremio.
excuse though, because that is still a very
Groningen.
real problem.
It's the goddamn.
Not Brazil.
Yeah. No, it is an issue, and I think the reason that Pepe gets subbed on there for the final 10 minutes instead of Sargent, who seemed like the obvious other top striker, is because Sargent is probably slated to start this one. Yeah, I do think you have to try some people out. What do you guys think about getting Aiden Morris a start in this one? He had the assist in the first game. When he came on, he was one of really the only people that did have intensity. He's been somebody you can easily be critical of in the past while he was at Columbus. I think in the past 2 years, he's developed a decent amount. Not saying he's at all an answer, but he at least brought the intensity. And to be honest, at this point, that is a massive plus over other people. Nick, would you like to see him, or do you want to stick with that Eunice, Johnny pivot and give it another go against a smaller opposition?
Isn't that Jordan?
Honestly, I would swap everyone except for Eunice and Johnny. I know that might sound kind of crazy, but like what are we doing with Aiden Morris? He's not going to fit in this player pool in the future. This midfield is stacked. I think you have to let those two guys. Maybe it was horrible, but I still believe the profiles of Eunice and Juna actually mesh pretty well together. So I think give it another go versus some weaker competition. See if they can control the game, especially since Johnny's not playing at all for Betis right now. So I'd still be okay with that midfield, and I'm swapping every other player. If you want to leave Schulte, fine, but you can give one of the other kids a chance too. I mean, every single player is getting swapped out for me. I think Richards as well, Pulisic as well, even the real starters that were there, swap them out. Let's see what we have. I guess you keep Aronson on there, but I want to see Cade Cowell playing. I want to see De La Torre and Haji and fuck it, give me this Fossey kid. I don't care. It was atrocious, and you have to send a message.
Yeah, I mean, I think Pulisic, you could just bench him because why the fuck would you play him? It's not like Pochettino doesn't know who he is. He's going to need some scouting on him, and he may be the captain and want to play, but you might need to save him from himself. He's going to be playing a lot for Milan, and it's fine to keep him healthy in these games. Everybody else that's a big name is really realistically out of this one. I feel like you give Matt Turner a start. I think Matt Turner against Canada, you didn't because they're pressing like fucking crazy, and he's awful against the press. So, but I also, if Diego Cochin's in there, not upset.
I completely disagree with you on the Aiden Morris thing, Nick. I think you have to give him a start. I think we should reward a player like that. I mean, maybe he doesn't fit in the future, but he made a big move this summer, going to the championship. That's a competitive move
very well
for his
there as
career.
well.
Has started well, looked good in his cameo off the bench. Not the prettiest setup for a goal, but worked well to get it into the box and a finish from Luca De La Torre there. He showed more than the three midfielder guys, and I think we have to push for competitiveness in this squad. Positions aren't guaranteed. That's what we talked about, and that has to start somewhere. With a young kid like this, it at least puts pressure on the starting midfield players to perform.
Is that our issue at US Soccer that we have these crazy talents that we're like, okay, they're obviously better, but they're so inconsistent, and we should just be saying, hey, listen, this guy came on and he played really well, but I mean, he's not going to be the future. Is it that we just have that mindset of he's not going to be the future, let's continue to develop, rather than just saying, hey, you
First of all,
can be the future, but you're going to be the future when you're there, not now.
First of all, I think we need to stop all this. Oh, he's insanely talented. No, they're not. They're good. They're fine, maybe. And also, right now, they're not. So let's put the brakes on that officially. I'm done with that conversation. As I said after Copa. The only reason I agree with everything you said, Mike, and all the logic, I just personally am not an Aiden Morris guy. So I don't think he's not the guy I would want to reward. Put De La Torre in there. He scored the goal. He's been around the team before. We know he's a hard worker, press resistant, all these different things. So I'm good giving him a shot, even though I don't think he's anywhere near our most talented midfielder. Personally, I'm just not an Aiden Morris guy. But I see your point, and if he starts and plays well, then great. Maybe he does force his way in. I'm not against any American playing, except for maybe Pepe.
Except for Pepe. The poor guy. The Pepe stands are going to be upset on this one, but hey, listen, we're hoping for him to come back and play well. It's just this Copa America summer, and And that friendly has not been too kind for our boy Rico. Boys, let's say we make all these wholesale changes. It looks amazing, and the U.S. come out and destroy New Zealand. Does it at all matter? Because at this point, I'm getting a bit tired of a god-awful result like Colombia absolutely massacring us because we don't have intensity, or we look super sloppy, we look like shit. And then we come back the next game, like a Brazil game. Oh my God, what a performance. The boys can still do it. It's a 1-1 draw. Like, well, how many times are we going to have a terrible result and then come back with a good result just for us to have another shitty result? Is there anything to be learned from this, gained from this one? Because to me, it's going to come from a string of very good games. I don't care if they have a good game here. It needs to be showing a consistent string of it for me to have any type of impact on what I'm thinking. Mike?
Yeah, I know. I see what you mean. You want to see it consistently over long-term period rather than just fucking one at a time. But it has to start somewhere. It shows pride if they actually come in and show some fight here. The result does not matter. It's not an overly strong opponent, respect to New Zealand anyway. But you have to take care of business. You have to show that you have pride playing for the United States, that you value the opportunity, and that you're not taking it for granted, because a lot of these guys do that. That seems to be an issue. And really, they should be playing as a debut or a performance for Poch. Hey, look what I could do for you. You got to bring me because I'm going to do it for you every single time.
Yeah. Nick, that's assuming the U.S. win this one, which may be a bit of a safe assumption. But let's say they don't win it. They come out and they look shit again. Is this the worst string of form that we've had since Cuba?
I think maybe, Poch just backs out at that point if you can't fucking beat New Zealand. I think you're you're like, never mind. I will go coach New Zealand instead, because what the hell are we doing here? Yeah, it'd be a horrible look. There's nothing that we're gonna learn about anyone this game, I don't think. Maybe some mentality stuff, I agree, like play for pride. But again, that stuff should already be a given. So I'm much more interested when we play, at Mexico in the October window. I think that's going to tell us a lot about some of these players. And obviously, well, not obviously, I guess theoretically Pot should be there. So we'll see. But yeah, nothing's going to change. If it's a loss, it's just embarrassment upon embarrassment. But like at this point, I'm already pretty low on the squad as a whole.
Yeah, there's a lot to prove here. They have wiped their slate of good faith completely clean, and not completely, but pretty damn low. And they certainly need to earn back some respect, because that is earned, not given. And maybe we have given them a bit too much respect for some time. And this summer has really done some terrible things to that. Speaking of respect, Jesse Marsch made some comments this weekend, and we'll close on this. Is it a big deal or no deal? Jesse Marsch's comments this weekend. Obviously, like I said, he went on the podcast circuit this weekend before the game, saying that a lot of the players that were saying Greg Berhalter should be in are now flip-flopped and saying that they wanted him gone, or are excited for the change. Talked about how the U.S. players are kind of not strong, and he didn't necessarily say they weren't strong, but said, kind of insinuating that, yeah, maybe a mindset thing there. I don't understand how you can't get up for games like this. And then after the game, saying that he knew the U.S. were going to be like this, played right into his hand, and he'd much rather coach Canada than the U.S. What do you make of these comments, Mike? Is it no deal, big deal? And what does it change on your thoughts of Jesse Marsch here?
He's talking that shit, dude, because he can. I mean, he's in a position now.
Did not get banged.
He beat us. He had a good Copa. Job's going well. He's on the outside looking in. Doesn't have a good relationship with the federation. They're not his employer.
Hates them.
I mean, he's going to say whatever he wants to. I mean, some of it's accurate for sure. Our players definitely don't speak their minds or try to play favorites too much. That's for sure. Like if it was another country, a serious federation, you'd hear the big egos in the team being critical of the manager if they were not happy. We see it time and time again. Yeah, sometimes that's negative. You should back your manager. You should believe in the project. But if it's not working, you got to call it out. Never saw anybody do that really to any legitimate degree. At the end of the day, though, he's just talking that shit.
Nick, did he say anything that's that untrue, though? I mean, is he realistically? Is he just keeping it real? Other than
just shut up, Jesse Marsch. Like you can't. We know like your history with the Soccer Federation. You got like turned down. He's just an ex-girlfriend who's like talking hellish shit on Twitter. Like just relax. It's gonna be okay. You're in a new spot. Stop talking about what could have been. Just you won. Congratulations. Copa's over. You did well. But I don't give a shit what you have to say anymore. You are not in our plans. You're not in our vision. Just shut up. We know we're shit right now. We don't need you talking about it too. And you've said a million times, "Oh, I'd rather coach Canada." The more you say that, the less I believe you. So just stop talking and stay in your lane, bro.
Yeah, on some of his podcasts, he was saying that, Wisconsin, they're saying it's the 14th whatever of Canada. So really, I feel so Canadian. I feel more Canadian every single day. They've taken me in. I'm feeling like I was meant to be a Canadian. I do feel that same sentiment is, listen, I'm all for talking shit if you can back it up. And he backed it up. So, brother, say what you want. But the constant talking of the U.S. players were saying this and that. And, man, it is, as Nick, you're saying, it's giving that ex-girlfriend I didn't even want to be with him. Like, I'd much rather be with my new boyfriend. I mean,
talking about us, bro.
It's like, come on, Jesse. Come on, Jesse. Don't sour the fans that much. But, boys, we go into a New Zealand game here. Big one coming up. What are your final thoughts, final words before we head off into that one, Mike?
Come on, guys. What the hell was that?
Please.
Get your shit together. Like, come on, dude. That's not good. You were trying. Got to be better than that. Jesse Marsch, fuck you one time. Nick?
Listen, hopefully Poch is in the stands. This is the 40th report that we're going to see Poch at some point. And if he is there, it will be easy to see him because no one is going to these games, apparently. Maybe part of the intensity problem.
Dude.
Maybe part of the intensity problem is that no fans showed up. So we should own some of that as well. All of us have to do better. One nation. Let's get united behind the boys and God, there's only one way to go, really, and that's up.
I mean,
we could definitely go sideways.
I mean, listen, I join Mike, and please just give effort. That's all I'm asking.
What the hell?
We didn't even need to win versus Canada, but at least fucking try. God damn. Let us know in the comments what you think. Will the 50th report of Mauricio Pochettino being a done deal actually be a done deal? We'll know by tomorrow because that's what they say. It's coming in. But until then,
we won't know by tomorrow.
We will not know by tomorrow. We won't know by a month from now. We will be with Mikey Varis for October camp. But we'll keep you updated for that Mikey Varis October camp. So stay here, subscribe, like, comment everything that you're thinking about the U.S. We all got a lot. And until next time, peace.
Tim Ream, stay home.